Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jody and I am so glad that you joined me here today. If you enjoy decorating, crafting, DIYs, thrifting, antiquing, and tablescapes, then this is the channel for you. Shall we get started? In today's video, I'm going to be transforming these thrifted items using paint. Now some of these I've had a couple years and a couple I just recently got. These three I got a couple years ago and I didn't get them on sale. They were a set of 3 and they were $9.99 for all 3. So I always use the Decor Americana Light Buttermilk. That's one of my favorite colors. I also like the warm white, and I just get this paint at Walmart. So I am lightening up all of these. These are originally from Hobby Lobby. I actually have a couple more that I already had, and I was lucky to find these at a thrift store a couple years ago. And just going to have to be doing a few coats on here because mainly what I'm going to be doing is painting them the light buttermilk, and then I am going to be distressing them with some sandpaper. And since these are pretty dark colored, I ended up doing 3 coats of paint on these. So let's move on to another one here. Go ahead and get this one painted up. And I know a lot of you have told me that I need to invest in a Lazy Susan, but you know what? I have been painting this way for so many decades that I'm just so used to doing it this way. Where normally, of course, I wouldn't paint like this. I normally have it up on my little tub thing. I don't know, it just seems easier for me to do it this way. I guess old habits die hard. Okay, so I'm going to be finishing this one up, and then I will paint the last one. Then we'll be getting some distressing done. Now you could just spray paint these, but you know, I myself enjoy painting things by hand. It's just relaxing to me, and it gives me a chance to watch my murder mysteries, because that's what I like to do. I'm still watching the Murder, She Wrote series on here. I mainly like to do this on Sunday afternoons, is when I do most of my crafting. Alright, so now they're all painted, and I'm using a 150 grit sandpaper, and I am just going to be taking off some of the paint. Now I always say to do this lightly, just in case it takes off too much, because you can always go back over and do it again. And even if you do accidentally take off too much, you can always repaint it, let it dry, and start all over again. That's the best thing about this. And I'm not going to be antiquing these. I am just going to leave them the light buttermilk color with the black showing through. And I also like to get into like this little curved area here and get some of that off. Not just the you know, the high points on an item, but also do it on rounded sections too. I'm going to be finishing these up and doing just a little bit of decorating with them. The next item I'm doing is this candlestick I got recently at the thrift store. Got it at Goodwill. This is actually Party Light, and you can see I paid $2.99 and it was half off, so I couldn't pass it up. It looks nice the way it is, but again, I'm going to be using that Decor Americana Light Buttermilk on it. I just think I wanted just to change it up a little bit. I wasn't liking all the gray to it. And I'm going to be using a different technique on this one. And this one only took me 2 coats of paint to do. And I'm trying to get into all these little grooves the best I can. It's no big deal, you know, if you don't get in there all the way, because I'm going to be doing a little bit of an antiquing technique on here. I think this one is really pretty. It has a really pretty design to it. Okay, so once I have my 2 coats on, I'm going to be using this wax on here. I got this from Walmart. And I'm just going in with my stencil brush on here, and I am just swirling it on, and I'm taking a damp paper towel and just tapping some of it off. You can use, you know, just a regular rag if you want to. That's dry. But I like to use something that's a little bit damp because, you know, it's the first time I've used this and I wasn't sure how fast it would dry on here, and I didn't want it to be too dark. I'm just trying to get it dark more in the detailed areas is what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm just using a tapping motion. I'm going to take a little bit more off here because, like I always say, you can add more. I like how that is looking. Let me figure. Okay, I think you can see this better now. So now I'm going to go in this area here because I couldn't get in all the areas, but I'm going to go really heavy in this section with it and try to get all this brown down in there. Okay, again, just going to do a tapping motion here. Okay, so here is how it looks. I love how this turned out. I think I'm going to be using this wax a lot more often. I will be using it on one more project. So the next one I have here is another candlestick. I got this at the Arc Thrift store. It is actually a Pottery Barn, $2.99, and it was half off. Now I know that Pottery Barn and Party Light can be expensive, so I think I got a smoking hot deal on these. Again, I'm going to be using that same color, and I'm just going to be painting this up my 3 coats on here. And when all that dries, I'm just going to be taking the same 150 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to do some distressing on it, but no antiquing on this one. This one's a lot easier to paint than the other one. And I'm even going to paint the top here. Let's get it all painted. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing the sandpaper on here. And this one doesn't have as many high spots to do. So I will be going in on the rounded sections and taking some of the paint off. And I do want to take off a little bit more chunks, as you can see, making the black a little bit bigger in these areas. And of course I have sped this up. I do not sand this fast. But I do like this one having a lot more of the black showing, because there's not a lot of detail to this candlestick. Okay. Let's do some on the top here. right, and then I'm going to be decorating with both of these candlesticks. So here is another item that I got many years ago, and it's originally $23.99. Looks like a Hobby Lobby label. I'm going to leave the gold in there. I got this a few years back. I really can't remember how much I bought it for, but I know I wouldn't have paid a whole lot for it. It's pretty the way it is, but I want it to go French country, and I think it has some great detail to it. And again, I'm using the light buttermilk color. This is, like I said before, this is one of my favorite colors to use. And I recently found the warm white, which is a nice color too. So I'm not going to be painting the inside, I'm just going to leave that gold. But I am going to be painting the lid and the outside of this. I guess you call this like a little jewelry box, little trinket box. Now I'm going to be using that wax again on this one because I think it just needs to have all these details popped out. Again, I got this at Walmart. Same thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting it on with my stencil brush, and then I will be taking it off with the damp paper towel. I thought about just leaving it the light buttermilk color and distressing it with the sandpaper, but I think I like this technique better. I like it more antique-y looking. Okay, so here's how it turned out. I think this looks really nice, and it looks great with the gold in there. So I'm glad I left the gold like that. And I wanted it to be, you know, heavier in some spots and lighter in some spots instead of trying to make it more uniform. So I kind of like the way this looks. All right, so now I'm going to be working on these. I guess these are little candle holders, little risers. I got these a few years back, and they were like $2.25 a piece. I actually whitewashed them to look like this, and I don't like it. So now I'm going to paint them black, and then I'm going to just be distressing them with the sandpaper. And I did end up doing 2 coats of black on here. Once I get the 2 coats of black on here, I will be doing 2 coats of the light buttermilk on here. Now, I am not going to be trying to cover all of the black up. These have lots of detail to them, so I kind of want some of this black showing so then I don't have to use so much of the sandpaper technique. And that's the trick to it. You could also not even do the sandpaper technique and just try to keep as much black showing on here that you want to, just by adding the white paint. Now that they're done, you know, you could leave it like this, but I want a little bit more showing, especially on the high points and down at the bottom. So I will be using the sandpaper. Now you're probably wondering, what are those things sitting to the right of you? Well, I am getting ready to make me one of my roosters that I do with the crackle paint. And I'm just kind of experimenting with how I want to do my base here, and I think I'm going to use all these because I'm going to make it really, really tall. It's going to be getting some warm weather here, so I think I'm going to get my scroll saw out, and make me a rooster. Now that these are done, let's decorate with them. Okay, the last thing I'm doing is this umbrella. Now, I've searched for years, high and low, to find a really cute plaid springy umbrella, and I can't find anything. But I did find this a few years back at the Goodwill for just a few dollars. And I am going to take this off. Yes, I'm cutting it off. You could use this for spring if you wanted to, but I want to use green and pink. So I'm just gonna, oops, I like how things pop off. They go right back on. These are just tacked on, and I'm gonna cut all of these off so I can have a template for, I'm just gonna put regular fabric on here. This does take quite a while to do. I think a razor blade would probably work faster than these scissors. All right, let me finish this up and I will show you my idea of trying to recover this with some fabric. Now, I cut this in half because I was thinking about just doing two separate pieces, because unfortunately my fabric is not wide enough. I only have 44-inch fabric here width, and it's shy about 3 inches, so 3 to 4 inches. But this is the fabric I want to use. I think this is so pretty and springy. It has the hot pink and the lime green plaid, and I thought about putting this on here and cutting out half and half and somehow attaching it. I'm trying to do a no sewing thing because these little panels are sewed. So I'm not sure if this is what I want to do, because I don't want to cut out individual panels and sew them. I want to do it much quicker. So I gave up with that idea. So what I'm doing is I am just going to make a square with my fabric and fold it twice, and then I'm going to take the corner piece here and I'm just going to cut a little hole, just a small hole here. There we go. I'm going to open this up. Okay, got my hole right there. I'm just going to slide this over the umbrella. Again, I wish I would have had wider fabric. I'm about to move the camera here for you. Okay. But I'm just going to make do. This is just decorative anyway. So I'll be putting some flowers in here. You're not going to notice anything. But my idea is to put this on here, and then I will be tacking these with some thread in 3 places is what I plan on doing on the inside and on the outside. Like I said, you're not going to see anything, so that's what I'm going to do. So first I'm probably going to have to pin it in every section so it will stay in place. But it will look kind of like this, and I will tack it on there with, like I said, with some thread. Okay? Now it's all done. The next thing I'm going to do is take a pipe cleaner here and I'm going to bundle it, because since this is fabric, it's really flimsy. It's not like the umbrella material. And I'm just going to stick in these hot pink and these green tulips that I got from Michael's. Going to tuck them in here and there. I'm also making a bow. I have some hot pink ribbon that has lime green polka dots on it. I'm not going to show you how I make the bow because, as I've always said, I'm bow challenged. It's not the best looking bow. As I say, my makeshift bows. And I will be using that pipe cleaner there to attach it, the bow, to that. And then I'm going to hang it on my front door because I think this will look fabulous on my front door with these pops of color since my door is black. Okay, just tuck in a few more here and there, fluff it up, and it's ready to be on the front door. So I think this looks fabulous on my front door, nice and springy. It's good to have a little bit of color since we've had so much cold weather and snow. It's a lot nicer now. I have not decorated my front porch yet. That will be quite a while before I do that. I want to remind everybody that on Tuesday, March 1st, I am co-hosting with my friend Antoinette for Antoinette's Vignettes Marching into Spring's Garden. It is an open collaboration, so I hope that a lot of you will be participating with us. And I do have her channel link down below, so you can go check out all the rules that she has for the collaboration. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.